Growing up in Ghana, Dee Maat, as she's fondly called, always loved dressing up using her mother's lipstick and wearing her jewelry, especially her necklaces, bangles and shoes. She trained as a journalist and practiced in Ghana for 3 years before relocating to London 15 years ago. Style Check by Dee was born in 2011 after doing a brief styling course. Dee joins me on the sofa as she talks to us on the Justeve Show about her world of styling.
You're welcome back if you're just joining us. This is the Justeve Show, and we have a very beautiful lady as guests today. Dorothy, it's good to have you on the show.
My pleasure, Evelyn.
Okay, Dorothy is too long, so I'm going to cut it down to Dee. Thank you for inviting us into your home. Now, there's a ritual we have on the show, right? Mm-hmm. With all my guests, we go back to the very beginning. What were your growing up years like?
Okay. I moved to the UK, I think, nearly 17 years ago. I grew up in Ghana. There's two of us, myself and my kid brother. Growing up in Ghana, Dad wasn't very present in our life. It was just my late mom. She was a very hard-working woman. She trained as a teacher and then later on went on to be a fashion designer. And yeah, so she was very strict. You couldn't be a girl and have a male friend. It wasn't allowed. But I think she did a very good job. She was a very great mom. And me being an adult now, I can see what she did. Growing up, I think we took advantage of certain things and we didn't have very good understanding. But being an adult now myself makes me realize she did a very good job. Growing up in Ghana, I had the privilege to go to a very good school, a private school, and then later on went to secondary, which was boarding. And then from there I did journalism because that's what I wanted to do. And then things changed and I moved to the UK.
How did things change? What happened?
After a while, I said to Mom, I don't feel challenged. I feel like I need to be out of Ghana. And I had cousins in UK and obviously in America, but for some reason I loved the UK. And yeah, I came over just to... The deal was to come and further my course in journalism, yeah. And I had a chance to do a show with Chris Pickerton on BBC and Focus on Africa. I think he's passed now. And yeah, and then from there, I didn't like journalism anymore.
Oh dear.
It wasn't challenging enough.
Okay, so you didn't like me then?
It wasn't challenging enough because back home in Ghana, you are down on the streets, you are covering stories like things going on, and you know. But in the UK or in Europe, or should I say, in the part of the other world, everything is more like it was focused mostly on celebrities. And for me, coming straight from Ghana, it wasn't settling in. And I didn't think I was being challenged enough, so I then decided to go into finance. So that's what I do now, Monday to Friday.
Are you serious? Okay, so you decided to do finance. You went back to school to study.
No, I did study on the job.
Okay.
So I applied for credit control and finance jobs, and that's what I've been doing since.
So you're what now, credit controller?
No, I work. Business operations for a finance company. Yeah,
okay, I see.
I work as a supervisor. Actually, I'm an assistant manager after 6 years later. So.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. Okay, so how did you get into styling? What brought about it?
Mom had a massive stroke and I had to rush to Ghana. Everything was fine, and then I decided to come back to UK. And then I kept talking to Mom and my brother, obviously Michael. Everything was fine. And was it 2 years later after my visit, anytime I called home and I wanted to speak to Mom, Michael was making up stories like, oh, Mom is gone to a funeral, or mom is going to a christening or a party or stuff. So, but there was this telepathy thing going on telling me, no, something wasn't right. So one day I called, it was a weekend, I remember very well, it was a Saturday. I called and said, can I speak to mom? And Michael said, she's sleeping. And I said, no, can you wake her up? And then one of my aunties that time was present, took the phone and said to me, in my Ghanaian language, and obviously called me by my Ghanaian name, Mamiesi, your mom is not very well, so you need to come home. And I was like, okay. So I went home, again, looked after mom, everything was fine. And then finally she passed, she had a massive stroke again, went into a coma and passed away. Just before I went to Ghana, I was so strong because mom brought us up in a way that you have to stand up for yourself. Even if something went wrong, you cry at home, and as soon as you get out there, you lift your head up, your shoulders up, you keep it moving. So when mom passed away, being the eldest, I knew I had a task, and I knew, I'm choking now. I need to make...
Oh, do you have some tissue? Can we have some tissue, please? Can we have some tissue?
Oh, I didn't think I was going to cry.
No,
anytime I talk about my mom,
right.
I get emotional. Yeah,
Okay.
you can keep it.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you went home and...
So yeah, went home, acting strong, did everything that could do to make mom proud, and so after before the funeral I was very strong, everything was fine, you know. My aunties and uncles were proud. My mom's friends, who she's lived with for over 35 years in the neighborhood, everyone was proud of me and all that. So I came back home, and I came back to UK, and I think when I got to Heathrow Airport, that's when I think reality kicked in. That's when I realized, okay, mom is passed away. She's not going to be there for you to be ringing her anymore for help or advice or whatever. So I came back, went to work as normal. But according to my colleagues at work, I didn't even notice myself. My body language changed, my mood changed. I wasn't the bubbly and jovial person anymore, and yeah, it took a long time, and I think I'm still grieving. And after 3 months, oh, the thing is, yeah, I remember now. When I came back from Ghana, I went back to work. My mood wasn't the same, and I resigned from my old job. So I didn't have a job for, I think, almost 3 months when I came back from Ghana. The funeral was in January, and I think I didn't have a job till sometime in March with the company I work for now, the finance company. So everything was fine. And one day I went to work and I was shaking. So one of the supervisors then, Vicky, said to me, Dorothy, can I have a word? And I was like, okay. So we went to one of the offices, sat down, and she said to me, you're not okay. And I was like, what do you mean? I cover up a lot. You know, I've been brought up in a way that you have to be strong.
Yeah.
And I think there's negative side to it and there is a positive side to it, because I think as human as we are, sometimes you need to let it out, because mine was just bottling it, like everything in there. So when I was speaking to Vicky, I said to Vicky, I've not been sleeping for the past 2 weeks. I'm up like 1 a.m. I don't go back to sleep, and I come to work. And then she goes like, you're not okay. You need to speak to someone. I was in denial.
Yeah, that happens. Yeah. I've lost a brother, so I know.
Yeah. So I was in denial, and then I said, no, I don't need to speak to anyone. And then Vicky then said to me, don't forget, when you lose someone, you do have stages. You try to digest the news that you've lost someone, and then you go on to accept that they've passed away, and then you start living your life without them, and then you do all the grieving properly. But when you try to rush through grief, that's what happens. Yeah, that's the problem. And so I think that's what I was suffering from, because I wouldn't speak to any of my friends. I stopped going out, and people would ring me. I'll just look at the name on the phone and just cut them off. That is how bad it was. So Vicky then was my supervisor, spoke to the head of the department, Sam, and then Sam called my GP, and made an appointment for me. And they thought I wouldn't go, so they actually booked a cab as well for the taxi to pick me up from work straight to the GP. So when I went to the GP, there was a counselor ready for me. So the lady said, "Oh, what's your name?" Gave me all this form to fill out and everything. So after finishing the form, when I gave it to her, the two of them went into a room, did the assessment, and then came back. And that's when they said to me, we think you're depressed.
Depressed, yeah.
And I didn't want to hear that word. And I kept arguing with the lady. I said, "No, can you use a different word? I'm not depressed. I've just lost my mom and a job I really liked. So should we just say I'm grieving, I'm stressed out?" And then she said, "No, from the way you are behaving, you're showing signs of depression. It's up to you. We can either give you counseling or we'd have to put you on medication." I said, "No, I'm not taking medication." And then the lady goes like, "Dorothy, you're human. You need to accept." I was still saying, no, I'm not taking anything anyway. So it was through counseling. They normally give you homework to do, think about things that makes you happy. What do you want to do? What talents do you have? Do you have any ideas of, all those stuff? Yeah. So it was through that grieving time, because I was signed off work for, I think, nearly 3 months. So I was sleeping one day and I just woke up in the middle of the night, took a notepad. I always have a notepad next to me because I do get dreams and I do
put them down.
Yeah, and I get all sort of things coming through my head. So in my bedroom, I always have a notepad next to me, and I got up and started writing combinations of outfits, and then I was like, "Oh, okay, I might have to go into styling." And then this will come into my head, and that will come into my head, and then when I go to church, I'll grab anybody. I don't care who you are. I'm like, take a picture of me. And then everybody at church was like, "Oh wow, we didn't know purple could go with red
and stuff like that.
Yellow would go with blue." And then so that is how it all started. And I said to myself, to better yourself when it comes to any form of role or job or craft or whatever, you need to educate yourself.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, I can't just base it on because I think I'm talented or gifted. That's it. No. So I enrolled with London School of Arts, to University of Art to do a styling course, and then from there it's just.
You are so good at what you do. It's unbelievable.
I try.
Yeah, and we'll take a break right now. When we come back, we'll still be talking to Dee.
It's a passion, and I think I have something to give society. I have something to give women. I've always wanted to work with women, especially who have suffered domestic violence. So I think we should have our own identity. Style is not about you copying trends or wearing what Lily is wearing or what Evelyn is wearing. You have to be your own self.
Welcome back. This is the Justeve Show, and we have with me today as our guest on the show, Dee Maat, Style Check with Dee.
Style Check by Dee.
Oh, Style Check by Dee. Okay, so what is it because of styling now that you decided to come up with Style Check by Dee?
I think it started as a joke. I was just taking pictures and I didn't even want to blog at a point, and people were saying, "No, you do really well, so why don't you go into blogging and all that?" So one day I was speaking to my brother, my kid brother, and I had a list of names, and I said, "I really want to go into styling now. I want to go into fashion styling and then maybe go on to do designing." So I listed a few names, and then Michael goes like, "I like Style Check, so just add by Dee, so it becomes your own thing." So Style Check, that's how Style Check was born. I decided to move from the fun bit to a more professional.
Yeah. So who are those? Now you talked about celebrities. So who are some celebrities that you've styled?
Back home in Ghana, I've had chance to work with a lady called Jackie Appiah. She's a film actress, and there was a presenter I shopped for, Sandra Akobia. She's normally on TV. She hosts a program called is it Fashion 101? I can't remember. Yeah, but I do mostly for some people in government. They are very private. I shop for their wives, and I do have friends who don't like their names to be out there.
And you started me.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, and you and Pauline, and then what's the other lady from South Africa?
Sinazo.
Yeah. So yeah, and I'm yet to do more, and I would love to. There are some few people I would love to style.
Okay, now let's have an example. Now there's someone who is a size 10, right? And okay, no, let's look at me now, right? First of all, have I done well?
I like it. You look really nice.
The way you said that, I like it, wasn't very convincing.
No, I do like it.
Okay,
I do like it.
Now I'm going for a dinner with my boyfriend. How would you style me?
How long have you been with him?
Oh, you will ask me all those questions?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Styling is getting to know someone. You know, sometimes I see young ladies go on social media and think, oh, because Lily is wearing this fitted dress or bodycon dress or whatever, I can wear the same. Now, I think style is individual. For me to style someone, I have to get to know them. Are they bubbly? Are they friendly? Are they from a background where you're free to do whatever you want to do? Are they comfortable wearing a backless top, a crop top? So you need to get to know someone, and then that is when you pick their needs, and then I focus on their body size as well, because not everything that looks well on you would look well on me. So then body size comes into it, and then I look at their color, because not every color is like you being very pale and decide to wear peach.
So why are you asking me how long I've been with him? I don't have a boyfriend anyway. I'm not.
Yeah, but going on a first dinner date, you might want to look sexy and sensual. So,
Okay.
because going on a first date, you don't want to wear a shirt button up to there. Yeah, so.
Okay, given my age, but don't tell anybody how old I am. How would you start me on a first date? I'm bubbly, you know I am.
A nice V-neck sequence dress, maybe shirt sleeve. The reason I'm saying V-neck is because you're quite heavy here, so you don't need something covering up there. You need to show a bit of it, so not too much of it. So maybe a V-neck and then a shirt sleeve, a sequence, and no accessories. Maybe a nice stud earrings, just for a classy look.
Okay, so how do you do it? You have a 9 to 5
job,
right?
No.
So how do you? And I know that having seen you work sometimes, it's very demanding. How do you do it?
When it's a passion and when it's a God-given talent, you do find time. I can't speak for everyone, but most creative people, we do get more creative and get ideas when it's very quiet around us. I can only speak for myself. So sometimes, no matter how tired I am, if it's 2 a.m. in the morning, I can just wake up and I just get ideas flowing in my head and I have to write them down. But it's a passion, and I think I have something to give society. I have something to give women. I've always wanted to work with women, especially who have suffered domestic violence, because I saw that growing up. And I think the styling and me taking pictures and doing this blogging and speaking to people on social media, I think I've helped some women out there, because I do get really nice emails and I do find time. It's a passion. If someone said to me, which one would you choose, your finance job or your fashion job? I would say fashion job. But the moment the income coming in, it's not enough to live fully. So I have to obviously do the finance work too.
Okay. Now you styling is also about being good about yourself.
Yeah.
But how do you make someone feel good about themselves from the inside out? Because for instance, I have a big tummy, right? I think that's the only thing. But I want to believe I'm still a very confident woman, in spite of that. Whereas there are some women that have so many hiccups about parts of their bodies and stuff like that, and they won't just do anything because they are ashamed of one part of their body. So how would you style for those kind of people, and how would you get them to make themselves feel beautiful from the inside?
But I don't know if you do watch me a lot on Facebook. I make women know they are beautiful. It doesn't matter what color you are, what size you are, how you've been raised or whatever. Everyone has got a special gift about them. They've got something about them. And I know there are some people out there who would want to look nice, but deep down they are not very happy. That's why I said to you initially, for me to style someone, I have to get to know them. And knowing someone is not just because I want to do a business with you, so I'm just coming to see what colors you want or what should I buy or do all that. I get to know people, and then I keep letting women know that they are beautiful. You need to love yourself. We are here for a very short time, and this thing will die. So it doesn't matter if you have big breasts or big tummy or whatever. You need to first of all believe in yourself, and I'm sure everyone has got something they like about themselves. I never thought I had a beautiful smile, but most people tell me. So now when I want something, especially from men, I just give them that smile, and then I get whatever. Yeah. So when I meet people, someone will say to me, "Oh, but Dee, I've got big tummy," but I would look at them and like, "Well, you've got big tummy, but you've got beautiful legs. So can we show the legs instead of working on something that you don't like?" So it's always bringing the positive from something. Yeah, I don't know how to word it, but I wouldn't focus on you having a big tummy. I would try and choose another part of your body that you really like, or which is very beautiful. But we are all unique in our own ways. So, yeah. But.
So, sorry, I want to take you back a bit about your mom being a fashion designer.
Yeah.
How did that work? Growing up, what you watched her do? Work.
Oh God, we used to stay up at night to help her to put buttons and zips and all that. We did all that, and I remember Mom used to say, "You need to learn this craft. You need it one day." And I'm like, "Oh no! I want to be a journalist. I'm not going to sew clothes or whatever." But now it makes sense, and I wish I did, because Mom made clothes. I think she worked for over 35 years before she finally had stroke. Yeah, everybody knew her in the neighborhood. She was making almost every wedding dresses you can think of in the neighborhood for everyone and all that. So growing up, I didn't want to learn anything about fashion, but I loved fashion. I loved playing with accessories. Sometimes Mom would leave me in the bedroom, and by the time she comes back, I'll have all these necklaces and pearls and clutch pairs and trying to walk in her shoes or whatever. So I was more into putting things together. So that is how it started. Yeah, I know losing Mom was a very big thing for me, but then from there, that's how I've been able to find what was hidden in me.
Yeah, that's more like finding yourself. Yeah. That's a good thing. Now, for young people out there who want to do what you do, what advice would you have for them?
Be yourself.
We all say that. Be yourself. Be yourself. How do you be yourself?
Sometimes people say, "Dee, how come you've got about 11,000 followers?"
You do?
I do.
Oh, okay.
That's only on Instagram. I've got Twitter, I've got Pinterest, I've got Facebook. Facebook was what made me. I always give thanks to Facebook, because that's how people were able to find me. I've always remained myself. The reason I'm saying that is because I get emails from very big names. I don't want to mention big names, but people say to me, "You cover up, but you still look sexy. There's something about you. It makes people want to get to know you more." I'm not against people who show flesh. If they want to, they can. But I grew up in a home where you couldn't leave home wearing a skirt up there. Mom would drag it back. She makes the clothes for you anyway, so she's not going to make that shot. Yeah. And I think for a woman, and I'm African, I'm not going to change that. I don't care how long I've lived in the UK, I'm always going to be African. And the African culture, as a woman growing up, we had to cover up. That is how we've been raised. So be yourself, have your own identity. I when people see me or see any dress, they're like, "Oh, Dee would wear that," because I've given them that image. I've created that image in their head. So they do know that, oh yeah, Dee would like that, or Dee would... Sometimes I'll be at home and someone will take a picture and send it to me on WhatsApp, and they're, oh, I'm in this shop. As soon as I saw this dress, I knew it was you. So I think we should have our own identity. Style is not about you copying trends or wearing what Lily is wearing or what Evelyn is wearing. You have to be your own self, and that way you have control over your brand. That way people would identify you even when you are very far away. But I don't believe in copying people. So when I say be yourself, is let your identity stand out, be unique.
Okay, and of course they need to be hardworking.
You need to be hardworking. And another thing I say is you have to be very respectful. The fashion industry is broad. It's really big.
Brutal.
It's brutal, yeah. You have to be ready to make coffees, clean the studio when everyone is gone. You send emails, some of them wouldn't reply. You have to be willing to go through all that, yeah. But I think one thing that has helped me is me being real, because people like to show off wearing designer stuff. I'm not against designer stuff. I live within my means. I can't wear a full Gucci outfit or
that doesn't make
Chanel
sense,
or what. People do that.
Yeah, because I've actually seen someone wear, was it? It was Gucci from head to toe, and I looked. I was like, oh my god.
So yeah, but give me Zara, and I can tweak Zara, and I'll still look fine at a party or a wedding.
Yeah, it's really about
So and what I'm wearing now is from a Ghanaian designer who said to me, look, by looking through your pictures, I just felt like you wear this, so she designed this for me. So I think identity is a very important thing in the fashion industry, especially in styling. You need to be unique, you need to be yourself, you need to be real, you need to be respectful, you need to be humble, and you need to be hardworking, and always take on board. In any comment people give, you need to take on board, because they are the people who will make you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, some people do get upset when people go like, oh, this could have been... Everyone sees things from a very different angle, so yeah, but you need humility as well.
And I must say, you are extremely humble.
Thank you.
Extremely humble. And let's just tell me a little bit about your brother. Is your brother here, or is he in Ghana?
He's in Ghana. Michael doesn't like UK.
Oh.
Yeah,
he's a cold. He doesn't like.
He likes the freedom. He's always wanted to work for himself.
Okay.
So yeah, but he's very intelligent compared to me.
What does he do?
He's an IT. He did IT, and I think recently he sent me a picture of a new pub he's opened in Ghana, and he's asking me to come to Ghana and stuff. Growing up, we used to fight a lot.
I can imagine.
We used to fight a lot. I think because I was the firstborn, Mom was strict on me. When she was alive, I used to say, you don't like me, you like Michael more than you do.
Yeah. So I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so Michael got away with so many things, like he was able to drink alcohol and I wasn't able to drink, and he used to party a lot. But he's really calm now, and I think both of us changed when Mom was sick, because he was around Mom most of the time. I think that changed him. The impact was very massive for us, because we grew up as a very close family. Even though I have a very big extended family, I've got like well-known journalists in the family. I've got people who did Miss Ghana's, and I've got a very big family. But Mom raised us in a way that it was just the three of us. And anytime any of our cousins even wanted to visit, I get moody. Yeah. So when we lost Mom, it was a big impact, you know. But he did well. I think Michael is even more stronger I am now. And he's really doing well for himself. We don't fight like we used to anymore.
We are adults, so.
Yeah. So now when I need advice, I call him, and he calls me the crying baby, because I'm very emotional. I cry about everything. So yeah.
Okay.
He's been very supportive.
Yeah. Let's just get a little bit personal now. Are you in a relationship?
Everyone wants to know.
Well, you've got to tell us.
Am I?
I'm asking.
And who wants to know?
I do, and your fans do.
I know, everyone keeps asking, you've never posted a picture of a man. And I'm like,
Okay, you're in a relationship, but it's private.
Am I?
Look, we don't have much time, but you're going to answer this question, whether you like it or not. There's no
Next question, Evelyn.
Next question. Okay, everyone, she's not in a relationship.
Somebody's not going to be happy with you.
So she's.
Let's say I'm happy.
You're happy. Okay,
Yeah.
you're in a relationship. And does he like what you do? Does he encourage you? Because it's very important for him to encourage you.
The funny thing is, my ex-boyfriend
Oh,
come on. One time was very supportive, and then I think just after I won the BEFTA Awards, and the audience...
This BEFTA...
the one before 2013. I've won twice now.
Yes.
Yeah, it was amazing. Thank you. I wasn't expecting it. And is it Dr. Elikem? I can't remember her full name. She inboxed me and she went like, you do know you've been nominated again? And I was like, have I? And thankfully I won again, and I'm always humble to Pauline Young and her team.
So he now let's not deviate, but he wasn't he stopped encouraging you.
No, the first time when I won, I think the impact was huge. I was being recognized when I went on holiday. I went to Amsterdam. I was being recognized,
and he couldn't handle that.
I think because I was too friendly on my comments, because I think I got to a point I was calling everyone sweetheart, thank you. You know when people leave comments on my pictures and stuff. Yeah, but...
Okay, so we since you don't want to tell well, I'm going to decide for you.
Okay.
She's taking and she's not taking. So if you want to try, well, you can. And if you don't want to try, well, it's up to you. But I would not let this pretty lady go. Well, unfortunately, we have to go. I had so much fun talking to you today.
Pleasure. I did as well.
And I hope that we see more of you. And you begin to also, even though you're African, take Africa to mainstream.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, would love to see that. Thank you so much, Dee, for coming on the Justeve Show.
I really enjoyed myself.
Thank you so much. Well, that's our show for today. I hope you had fun, and I hope you picked up one or two tips of how to style yourself, or if it's somebody that you want to style. We'll do this again sometime soon. My name remains Evelyn Obahor. Until then, you go have yourself a wonderful time. Goodbye. Thank you.